Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. If you haven't been here before, my name's Sarah. I'm married to Mark and we have 8 kids at home. And this video is about trying to help people with food in the times that are going on right now. And I'm going to be deleting comments if they're getting really political about which side is at fault and all of that stuff, because this video is more about helping people who need it. There are a lot of different people who are struggling right now. Some maybe because of the government saying that SNAP is not going to be funded for November. Some because they're government workers and they are not getting paid at the moment. Maybe they will be getting a paycheck, but that doesn't help put food on the table right now. There are government workers who are having to work. They're essential workers, but they're not getting paid and they're still having to drive to an office every day and they're having to pay for gas and things like that. So this video is to try to give ideas for somebody who is finding themselves in a time of need for whatever reason that may be. And if you really are lacking food and need the help, you can't make the dollars work, there are food pantries and things available. There are some in our local area. We live in Mid-Coast Maine, but there are places all over the country. So go ask at your local church. Even if your church doesn't have a food pantry, they probably know of a place where food pantries are available, or looking into different programs like that. So I'm not trying to put everybody in programs because I know not everybody qualifies for the different programs at different places. This video is going to be about how to save your own money at home. But if you need those services, look to your local area for those. People shouldn't have to go hungry. And this is just to help people out. So if somebody I knew came to me and said, hey, I need help with my food budget right now, what would you do? The first thing I would do is tell somebody to inventory their cabinets, their freezers and their fridges, if they have multiple freezers, if they have multiple fridges. But looking at what you already have. I have an abundance of things right now because I have stocked up in the past, and I do have a video that you can look to. I'll try to link down below about how to stock a pantry. So that is something that I have been doing for years now, and I buy large amounts of things when they're a good price or when I notice that I'm running out of them and have extra funds to be able to do that. But that's one way that can be helpful. But if you aren't at that place where you've already started a pantry, you still probably have a lot of odds and ends in your house that you maybe bought for a recipe that you never ended up making, or you bought the product for a recipe and you only used a small part of it. Maybe it's something that was given to you. I recently acquired some food because my aunt and uncle live in the state of Maine for part of the year. And so I get their open packages or things that are going to go bad before they get back. So I've got some Parmesan cheese in my fridge. I don't typically buy Parmesan cheese, but that's something that I have at my disposal right now. Maybe you have that bag of beans that keeps getting pushed to the bag of your cupboard because you don't really know what to do with it. Now's the time to find what to do with it. And you can find tons of recipes online for things that you have. So just go online and type in recipe with pinto beans, or type in something that might go well with pinto beans that you have. So pinto beans and salsa recipe, and things will come up. You do not have to, actually, I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, inventory. Make a list of those things that you have, and make a list of make a separate spot on your list for the things that you don't normally cook with, because this is going to allow you to be creative and to maybe find a recipe that your family really likes. So what I would do is make a list of pantry items, a list of refrigerator items, and a list of freezer items. You want to focus on what you have for proteins, because protein is a big part of your diet and it's usually one of the more expensive parts, unless you're buying specialty ingredients. But this is not the time to go buy specialty ingredients. This is the time to get back to good old comfort food that's fairly cheap. So write all of that stuff. In my freezer, I know I have 1 whole chicken. Mark just went through my freezer the other day because we have 2 freezers downstairs, and we just got back from a trip. And so I was doing a bulk purchase because we happen to be going 2 hours away to a town that has Sam's Club. We don't have one close. And so I bought a bunch of stuff because I knew I was low on butter. And so I bought things. And so now our freezers are split up that we have one that has meat in it and one that has all the other stuff in it. But I happen to know that I have a whole chicken downstairs. I have some 1 pound chubs of ground turkey. That's a really good deal at Walmart. It's like $1.98 a pound for a chub of turkey. Adds a lot of nutrition to your meal. Anywhere you would use ground beef, especially if you're doing something, like if you're one who doesn't really like the taste of ground turkey, if you're doing a recipe that has lots of flavors, so like chili or tacos, you won't necessarily notice that it's not ground beef. So I've got those. I've got some grass-fed beef that I bought on sale a while ago when a local store was having a sale. I buy things as I have the funds for them. So just now we went out of town. I actually spent less on my grocery budget because we were out of state. Maine is a very expensive state for food. I spent less, and so when I got home, I've bulk bought some things. So like I bulk bought butter when we went to Sam's Club because it was cheaper there. I bought a ton of salsa because we ran out of salsa right before the trip, and so I bought the max amount that I was able to get at Walmart for a delivery, which was 12 containers, and they're down in my basement. So look at the proteins and base your meals off the proteins that you have. This is the time to use, again, those weird items that are there. And if you have something that's maybe a little freezer burned, you can still use it. It might not taste the best, but it is going to fill bellies. And if it has been properly frozen, your freezer has stayed at temperature, you know, without power going out for 3 days or whatever. If your freezer has stayed at temperature, then that meat's still going to be fine to use. It might not taste the greatest, but put it into a recipe, again, that has a lot of flavors. A turkey, a soup, or a chili or tacos, something that has tons of flavor. It will fill bellies. So find out what you've got. Next, base your meals on buying cheap ingredients to go with the things that you already have at home. So look for fillers. Like potatoes. Potatoes have a ton of nutrition in them. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, white potatoes, those are bad. We're talking about filling bellies right now. God is bigger than our circumstances, and God is bigger than our food. And while you want to be feeding your family good nutrition, you might need to, at this point, be buying things that aren't the preferred item. So maybe you prefer wild rice, but if your budget affords white rice right now, that's where you should be doing it, because a full belly eaten with thanksgiving to God is going to do more for you than spending the money on meager food supplies. Another thing I wanted to say, I'll get back to that point in a minute, but another thing I wanted to say is there are a lot of people I know that are preppers. They plan for things that might happen in the future, which is a great thing. But a lot of times they don't want to use their food stores until something really bad happens. Well, this might be the emergency that you were waiting for to feed your family. You don't necessarily have to use everything that's in your food storage, but it doesn't make sense to go out and buy more food if you're worried about when the money is going to come in, if you already have food in your home. So if you find like some amazing deal because the freezer went out at Walmart and they're selling everything for 75% off, okay, then maybe go buy some food. But if you already have ground turkey, don't buy more ground turkey for your freezer. Go use the ground turkey. If you have ground turkey, don't go buy anything that could be made, like ground beef or any of that, that could make a recipe that you could make with the ground turkey, because you have that right now. It is very good to move through your food storage and to use things up and then resupply them, because you don't want the food that's in your food storage to go bad anyway. So now might be the time to hang on to the funds and to use the things that you already have. So filling in the gaps of the proteins that you already looked at, looking at cheap fillers. So potatoes, corn, carrots, turnips. It's that time of year that we have all the like winter storage vegetables. So cabbage and apples. That's a fruit, I know. All those different things that are coming like are at the end of the season right now. And then also things like rice. Rice has a lot of nutrition to it. I know people look at it as, oh, that's a white grain. If you're doing white rice, but white rice plus a bean is a complete protein. a meat is a complete protein, but then there's other ways to make proteins, complete proteins, without adding a meat to it. So rice is a very good filler. It has a lot of nutrition, fills bellies, it's really cheap. Again, I'm not saying just eat rice all day long. You should have a variety of things, but look what you already have in your pantry and buy the cheap ingredients that can make those meals work. Another thing I would say is to find 2 or 3 items and really just set your mind to figuring out how you can make those cheaper for your family. So let's say that you always buy your kids like the pre-made muffins at Walmart. You know, you can buy like the 6-pack or whatever of muffins. I don't know, I haven't bought them in a while, but the muffins. The next step to doing something that would save you a lot of money would be to buy one of those muffin mixes that you add the milk and the eggs to. And then to save even more money would be to make them from scratch. And so work on those recipes. Just pick 2 or 3 things that would really help your family. Maybe it's making homemade granola bars because you usually buy a lot of processed foods in little bags. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that because we just went on a trip and we bought those little bags. My kids thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But right now, if you were worried about your food stamps not coming in or the government not paying your job, then now's the time to maybe make some homemade granola bars or to make some homemade Cheez-Its or make homemade bread. Homemade bread can stretch things so much, and there's so much variety of what you can do with bread, because bread is easy to add to a meal of a soup or a casserole. It's easy to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or you can use it just as a like sandwich, like anything you can find inside a sandwich. So really focusing on what things you can save money on. And maybe it's not being able to make it from scratch because maybe you just don't have the time for that, but maybe it's buying, like looking at what the cost of, oh, we usually buy this fancier bread from Walmart and we're gonna go with the $1 French bread. There are ways to save money. I am not telling anyone to put your health at risk if you have an actual medical condition. Like if you have celiac disease, I am not telling you to go add bread to your diet. That is not what I'm telling you. But now is the time that maybe you can't afford the natural peanut butter right now, but you can get the other peanut butter that fills bellies. Or maybe you change it up and you buy eggs, which are better price right now. Those prices went down, so that's really good. But those are the things that I would tell people if they were looking to save money on something. It would be use up the little parts and pieces that you already have in your home. Like this morning, we finished off some pancake syrup that had been given to us by making some homemade pancakes because I wanted to get that thing out of my fridge. Maybe you, like I said, there are people who still have things that were given to them through like food pantry type things during COVID. That's the bag of beans, the bag of lentils, maybe something frozen that you have. And just really focusing on what can I make or get for a cheaper price that would help fill my meals. If you have any questions on what I've said, or you have some suggestions for other people that might be watching my channel, go ahead and share them below. I have been in the place, we are not currently, but I have been in the place before where our family did take food stamps, and we relied on those. And if they had cut them last minute without me knowing, it would have been hard, because when you're expecting, when anyone is expecting that my grocery budget is going to be this per month and suddenly it goes to half, it's hard to make that all work and to wrap your mind around, I need to still feed my family even in uncertain times. But there is food out there for people who truly need it. But I think if we all dig a little deeper into the stuff that we already have, we live in a very, very blessed nation, and a lot of people have more in their cupboards than they think they do. And sometimes we just need to go scrounge around a little bit and find those things. So if you have anything to add, please list it down below, and we will see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God.